everybody, Trapsis here. Wanted to share with you a project that my kids and I have been working on. So as I might have mentioned in a previous video, we purchased the MakeBlock Advanced Robotics Kit, and we got that from Radio Shack. Fantastic kit. We've had a great time playing with it. Couple problems you'll probably notice online that a lot of the Radio Shack models have defective motors, DC motors, that drive the robot. And here's the example of the drive part of the robot. And the motors here on the Radio Shack model particularly are typically defective. Now that happened to us. Both motors wouldn't drive effectively, but the company was great. They rushed out some replacement motors, and that's what's mounted here. It's working much better now. I'll be demoing this in a later video, but I wanted to talk about some things we did while we were waiting for these motors to come back. So I wanted to challenge the kids with a little project to kind of help them learn about sensors and servos and motors. And so I challenged my daughter particularly. My kids are young, they're 7 and 10. My daughter's 10. And she's learning Scratch, and she's pretty good with it. And so I wanted to see if we could kind of blend the two, since you can use Scratch to program these robotics kits. And they have their own Scratch version called MBlock, which is really cool. So I'm going to show you that today. I'm also going to show you the project we worked on. So I asked her if she could create a kind of a quiz in Scratch, but instead of having the results displayed on the screen, to actually use servos to display an indicator on the score. And this is what we came up with, and I think it really came out neat. So this is using the Orion board, a servo, and the Bluetooth module. So it's all wireless, as you can see. So you can see the kids decorated the box. And we have, it's called the Great Quiz Show, and we have a little arrow here. So as you're quizzed, as the questions come up, if you get them right or wrong, it'll point to either correct or wrong. And then there's a score that's kept right here, and you can see the display, the segment display there. Around the side, we have an easy access to the board and the power supply, so you can shut it off. And that's pretty much it. And I'll show you what's in here in just a minute, but I wanted to show you how this all works together, and it's really kind of cool because it's wireless and Bluetooth. So I'm going to show it to you with the Scratch program. Okay, so here's the program running, and you can see we have a cute little ballerina there, and she's going to ask the questions, and depending on how you do, the device here will trigger, and it'll show you the correct or wrong. So let's give it a shot. So let's get to our first question. And let's see, it says the Statue of Liberty was always green. Well, I think that's actually false. So let's see what happens when I select false.
Correct.
And you can see a couple things. So the arrow went to correct, and the score was updated by 1. Okay, the next question is, a bear is the symbol of Scratch. Is that true? Well, I think so.
Wrong.
Oh, we got it wrong. So you can see our score was subtracted by 1, and it's pointing to wrong. It didn't go back to the center. It's supposed to. Sometimes Bluetooth does something funny, and it doesn't quite send all the commands, but it'll recover. So let's try again. Owls only hunt at night. Well, that's true.
Correct.
All right, we got it right. So that's the end of the game. There's only a few questions. We can add as many questions as we like. We've set it up in Scratch so you can actually it has a database of sorts where you can actually put in any number of questions. There's our final score up there. So let me show you how this all goes together. We'll start with the hardware. So here's our box. I'm going to open it up. Actually, I'm going to turn it off first. We have this convenient little switch here. So everything's off. Let's take a look inside and how it's all set up. All right, so this is just a cutout. Here's the display, and I'm going to take off the little arrow here. This pops right off. And you can see the servo cut out right there. And actually tape that in. So let's take out carefully the board and see how we have this configured. All right, so here we have you can see the Orion board inside here. The battery's on top, and we have a few of the modules here connected on the side. See how that's set up? And let's see, we have two RJ25 adapters on top and bottom. So this one controls the servo. You can see it. The servo is plugged right into the first, the first slot, and then this board's plugged into. It's very. This is the neat thing about the MakeBlock devices. The Orion board here is it's all color coded. So you can see this this module here. This adapter connects to blue, yellow, or it's like brown or tan. So you can find a corresponding color on the board right here, and you can know it'll work right off the bat. So that's the cool thing about it. So the other thing is we have the Bluetooth connector right here, and there's the Bluetooth adapter module, and then we have, of course, the 7-segment display, and that just plugs directly into the Orion board too. So that's really all the hardware. It's very simple, and there's our servo controller. I just have it. You can see there's some tape on there to keep it all in place. So let's take a look at what we're doing in Scratch. Now I'm not going to go over all the Scratch, but I'll show you a few things that are kind of key to make this work. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so you can see the code here. There's a few things I want to point out. So this is MBlock, really great program for kids. If they know Scratch, they're going to feel right at home here. So there's another tab over here, or rather a category called Robots, and in here is where you actually can connect to the MakeBlock components. And you can see one of the things we do is we, in the beginning of the Scratch program, we set the 7-segment display to 0 to reset the score. And then we load in all the questions here. And then we kind of go through and loop through all the questions. And then what we're doing is we're communicating when you click on these buttons here, false or true, and we're sending and receiving information. And that's all being interpreted by this little bear here, which is acting as the kind of the relay, and it's kind of the scoreboard, the scorekeeper. So each of these buttons has actions, and you can see it sets a value to true, and it connects to the robot, or rather to the board, and that's all happening behind this bear here. And the bear is where we're moving the servo. We start by moving it back to the 90-degree point at the center, and then depending on if you get a correct or a wrong answer, it's going to set the score, and you can see that the 7-segment display is going to be set to score, and then we're switching the servo over to either be on the correct side or in the incorrect side, and then afterwards it goes back to 90, right to the center, or it should anyway. And that's basically how it works. There's a lot more to it, but I'm going to actually put this code up on. You'll see it kind of below on YouTube there. You can download it and take a look at it for yourself. So I hope this has given you some ideas. We're going to keep trying a few new projects. I'm going to try to invent some projects for the kids to really take on, and then of course we're going to take all this electronics and go back and put them back on the robot, and hopefully get this thing running as well. We got a lot of projects in mind for this. I want to try the line following capability. We have a color sensor that we're also going to try out. We're going to see if we can get the robot to recognize certain colors and do certain actions based on those colors. So those are some upcoming videos to show you. We're pretty excited about it, and the kids are really, really jazzed about this. So until next time, this is Strapsis, and good luck and have fun.